Well, hello there, Dippers, and welcome back to Game 15 of the Ducks on the Pond podcast, the official baseball podcast of Sauce on the Side. And Dippers, we have the three-man weave, and we're back in action. I'm your host, Drake, and as always, I'm joined by the co-host, the producer, Leighton Chavantone.
Happy Bi Vanilla Day.
And also sitting in today, the man of the hour, Mr. Dylan Cappy Sollers.
What up, Dippers?
I love that. Sensual.
Every time. Consistency.
Well, Dippers, as always, you know you can listen to us on iTunes, but now you can also listen on Spotify. We will be on SoundCloud for the next few weeks, but we're going to try to phase that out. Also, make sure you listen to tomorrow night's show, the official mothership show of Sauce on the Side. Be sure to listen every Wednesday, because this Wednesday it is back, Hump Day Hoops Hysteria, with Fletcher and Leighton as they break down all of the free agent craziness in the MLB. And follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the Saucy Pod. Guys, we have a great show for you today. Today we will hand out some awards. Halfway awards. So we're going to break down, we're going to run through your MVPs, we're going to run through your Cy Young winners, and we're going to give you your Managers of the Year up to the halfway point. But before we get to any of those topics, Leighton C., the producer, you know what to do.
Hey, Ducks on the Pond here, kid. Ducks on the Pond. Let's go now, baby. Drive 'em in. Welcome to Ducks on the Pond,
A Sauce on the Side production. All right, guys. First off, we're going to give a huge apology. We are going to apologize to our man, John Jay. Last week on this show, we talked about how John Jay had been absolutely tearing it up, how he had been this 300 hitter for his lifetime, and how he has almost had a rebirth. He just got traded to the Diamondbacks, and he had been on fire. He was on pace for almost 200 hits this season. He was at 93 before the halfway point, and since we talked about him last week, the man has still not gotten a hit. He's 0 for 22 in his last 22 at-bats. Guys, what else can we say to John Jay other than we're sorry?
As a matter of fact, he's actually now 0 for his last 27. Sorry to position the updated outline, but yeah, 0 for the last 27 now.
0 for the last 27. So today he had 5 at-bats and no hits.
Last night he had 4, and today he had a pinch hit.
Wow.
So yeah, it's not looking good right now for old John Jay. As a matter of fact, entire Diamondbacks team only has an ERA of average .226, 0.7.
Not too hot.
Yeah, no, it's basically they're in first place.
Well, and I still don't think their offense is heated up yet, obviously, by what you just said, and they're, second to last in the majors in team average right now. So, being in first place in a pretty competitive division, once that offense, I think it will turn around for them. As far as Jay goes, and okay, maybe a little ahead of myself last week to pencil him in for 200 hits. You know, this pretty big stretch here of almost 30 at-bats, not getting a hit. I still think he's going to finish around the 300 mark, but I don't think he's going to get 200 hits probably.
Yeah, and the bad thing is, last week, you and I both, we were in the camp, this guy's going to get 200 hits.
We were singing the praise.
Yeah, and because it was well-deserved. But, I mean, now we sit here, and almost 30 at-bats later, and he still has not gotten a base hit. That's remarkable.
It's a really bad stretch for Johnny.
Is this the worst Saucy Bod curse to date?
I'm going to go...
30 at-bats, no hits.
I won't go with a yes on that one, I think.
Yeah, because it started immediately after we discussed him.
Yeah, I would have to say so.
The day of...
Yeah, dude's having a career year. We mention it, boom, falls off the map.
That was bad.
We apologize to John Jay. We apologize to all the Diamondback fans out there. Cappy and I stand on the throne today. We're going to say that John Jay will not get another base hit this season. So, you guys are welcome. Talking about hits, guys, for the second time in 3 months, there have been more strikeouts than hits. June alone, we had 6,776 strikeouts compared to 6,640 hits. Wrap your head about that for a minute.
136 more strikeouts than hits.
How is that possible?
Because, well, we talked about this weekend, actually. We were watching the World Cup because nothing else to watch on TV. And you were saying that they don't shoot enough. And hockey, they don't shoot enough. And with the analytic guy, in hockey, it'd be a ton of shots on goal.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, a strikeout is just another out. And this is a great reflection of the home run area that we're in right now, where the guys want to get more runs to the board. Because an out's just an out to a team, doesn't matter how they get it.
Right.
I think it's the runs, that's how it's going to be, and I think this trend is going to continue for a long time. I don't know a great way to fix it either.
Leighton, to your point, I think it's going to continue to be the norm from now on. Between, like you've discussed, we have the swing path, guys with their, it's like you say, they're to the point now where putting the ball in play is just not a thing in today's game. It's not important. There's not a, what should I say, like an emphasis on putting the ball in play now. It's just, like you said, it's like taking a shot on goal. They're trying to really up their stats with the homers. It's just, I don't know why it's taken off like it has, but it has, and this is going to continue.
Yeah, have we seen a full MLB season with more hits or more strikeouts than hits yet?
No, it's never even happened at all until these past 2 times.
Wow. So these are the first 2 months that this has actually happened?
Ever.
Wow, that's crazy.
And like the 130th history of baseball.
It seems like baseball's been around for like a million years.
Yeah.
Because we always have like those stats, like with Ward and stuff like that, where they pop up like 1884, this guy did this.
Yeah, 1884, the guy had a crazy year, but 1884.
Yeah, and that's just remarkable. And I don't think pitching's getting any better. We've talked about it a million times. We beat the horse to death. But, just to have these numbers here as an objective measurement to see how basically long gone hitting the ball into play is, it's crazy. And I agree with you guys. I think it's going to continue. And at this pace, 2 of the 3 months we've had this, I think that we will have, for the first time in an MLB season, more strikeouts than hits.
Yeah, I don't know a number, but I can try to figure them out. I bet we're on page 4 about that.
Oh, I guarantee it. And, we're getting more dingers. So, I said it. We're at the halfway point in the MLB season. And we're going to go ahead and hand out some awards. We did it after the first month, but now 82 games, everybody's officially played them. Guys, up to this point, we'll do NL first because NL's the superior division. Isn't that right, Solers?
Let's button for hits, baby.
Sure.
We'll go NL first. Guys, who's your NL MVP?
My MVP is Nolan Arenado. He leads the National League with 20 home runs. His OBP is 389. They have 57 RBIs, a 306 batting average. Taking the second place in the division right now. They'll win the division, obviously, because the Giants are winning that division. So that will hurt him in the end. But right now, the National League MVP is Nolan Arenado.
Okay. Leighton, how big of and I don't mean to put off what we're doing here, but just to kind of bring up a little bit of a debate, how much of an emphasis do the two of you put on a team winning a division for an MVP race?
None.
I don't put any on it.
Really?
Zero.
I don't think it should be, but especially in baseball.
Yeah. Well, it's just, we've seen it before. Guys have career years and they're on a last place team and they get punished for it. And I agree with you guys. I don't like the fact that guys, you can only affect your performance. You can't drive a team. So with that being said, I just want to bring that up, get your guys' thoughts on that.
What do you think? Do you think that it should have any emphasis?
No, I really don't. If there's a guy, like I said, that's had a career year, if he's hit 40 home runs, drove in 110, hitting over 300, and outpaced everybody else in his league, if his team's bottom of the barrel in his division, like look at Votto. Votto's a prime example.
Oh, yeah.
You can't punish that dude for what's happening to the Reds. That's not his fault.
Yeah, no, as soon as you said that, I instantly my mind went to Joey Votto and Mike Trout.
Yeah. So, no, I'm not a believer in punishing those guys. With that being said, up to the midway point of the 2018 season, my NL MVP is Freddie Freeman.
Another good choice.
I don't have exact stats for him. I do like, in the same sense that I don't like a guy's performance being judged by his team's placement if they're doing poorly, I do, put some emphasis on how well a team's doing when a guy's having a season like this. He is driving that team. That whole offense is clicking right now between Markakis, Albies, Swanson's been as good this year, better than he's been. And I think that all comes from Freeman having the season that he is. I think with that being said, I don't think if he was having the sort of season that he is, that all these guys would be able to be as successful.
Right. No, I agree with you 100%. I'm going to piggyback off of you there. I have to go hands down Freddie Freeman. I think that if you look at the NL, he's in the top 10 of hits, doubles, RBIs, home runs, walks, average, on-base percentage, on-base plus slugging, and slugging percentage, and he's outside of the top 30 in strikeouts. You know, I actually do put a little bit of emphasis on that fact. With the, his strikeout numbers aren't extremely high, so it's not like he's out there just trying to go yard every single time, and he's actually the motor behind a team that has basically went from a terrible baseball club to a front runner to win the NL. And I put a lot of emphasis in that, and I think Freddie Freeman here is the clear-cut favorite for NL MVP.
Well, and the Braves have been purposely bad for a few years now, and I think they're a little ahead of schedule, just like the Yankees were last year. I didn't expect the Yankees to be where they were already. With that being said, the driving force behind that has been the one mainstay the entire time. Even when the Braves were bad, Freddie Freeman was still there. Now the pieces are in place. He's still that driving force, and to that you have to credit the guy a lot there for being able to maintain himself over these past few years, because I'm sure it's been miserable for him.
Oh yeah,
nobody likes to lose, but he's still shown up. He's battled the injury bug, and even more so, more praise to him for that. He's battled back from injury, and he just continues to show up and do his thing. So for that, I got to give him a lot of credit.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Freddie Freeman, he's just been an animal. So we'll go to the AL here. We'll start off with you first, Leighton, since you're the big AL guy here. Who do you have as your MVP to this point?
Well, I must have wanted it to be Jay Martinez. I had to get to Mike Trout. Mike Trout, top 5, top 3 in most offensive categories this season. Got an absolute animal out there, and I hate the WAR stat because I don't understand it, and therefore it's bullshit. But he's on page for the best WAR ever, and people out there that the WAR means something to you, that's a big deal. Do you think I have anybody other than Mike Trout? Because I'd be pretty shocked if you do.
Well,
I do.
It's just a week ago I probably would have said Trout, but right now I am going to kind of be a little bit of a with the time pick here, and I am going to go JD. I really, to credit what we were just saying about Freeman, the Red Sox needed that guy in the lineup, that bat, to really protect everybody else. And JD is doing that this season, and that's why the Red Sox, I think, are able to compete like they are. I think they still need, and I'm getting a little off topic here, but I still think they need to bolster the bullpen a little bit. But other than that, this is a really solid club, and I think he's the piece that makes their lineup right now. So I do think he legitimately has had an effect on that team where they're sitting right around first place, in second place. They would probably be, a few more games back from the Yankees right now, and I think he is making all the difference for them at this time.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I'm actually going JD Martinez as well. He has 45 extra base hits. He leads major leagues with 25 home runs, 67 RBIs, which, if you're looking at the Triple Crown alone, he's leading 2 of the categories, which we've looked at as such an unbelievable thing to do. And realistically, he has a chance to pull that off because right now he's sitting there with he's fourth in batting average in the AL. So he's realistically putting up Triple Crown numbers. And you can't shy away from that. I know that people will come back and say, well, he doesn't play the field that often. He only has to worry about one side of the coin there. But like Cappy said, you got to get with the times. It's a progressive league at this point, and we're seeing that every single day. We just got done talking about how there's more strikeouts than hits, and, it's kind of going that way. So you can't punish him just for being a hitter. If he is just a hitter, he's doing it better than everybody else.
Right.
And for that alone, I have to go with JD Martinez there. And like you said, we put a lot of stock into the team being really good, but you don't punish the guy for being bad. So if you just look at the Red Sox, he's basically what Freddie Freeman is to that team.
Yeah.
And I have to go with JD Martinez on that.
Well, and I even stand corrected because coming into play tonight, the Red Sox are a game above the Yankees right now. And I legitimately think without Martinez at this point, I don't think they would be leading the Yankees.
I do too, but however, in about 5 innings, we'll be tied for the division again. Asheville currently down 9-0.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
That's fair enough.
Probably did not bring the juice tonight.
No juice from David Price. But sticking with David Price, we'll go to pitchers. Up to this point, Cappy, we'll start with you, NL guy. Who is your NL Cy Young winner at the halfway point?
I think this is going to be Scherzer by the end of the season, but as of right now, my midway point of the season Cy Young Award winner, Jacob deGrom. He leads in almost every category. He has been the non-beneficiary of a bad team up to this point. And again, just like we credit, Freeman going out when the Braves were bad, we credit Trout, the things that he's battled through. DeGrom, the same thing. To go out, take the ball every fifth day, and battle your nuts off for a team that's not very good and losing games that they have no business losing when you're on the mound. Big credit to him to go out there and compete like that. And I think more so maybe even for him, his motivation right now is to get the hell out of New York.
Yeah. If he get out of New York, if he could have been out of New York 10 starts ago, he'd have been happy.
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't go downtown, I'll be fine with that.
Well, there you go too. As long as he doesn't go to
The Yankees.
the other side. Yeah.
Fine. Yeah. No, I'm the same boat as you though. I do think it will be Scherzer, but right now it's Jason deGrom. Scherzer pretty much 10 strikeout numbers, and I do think he will be second at the end of the season. But right now it's just deGrom. I mean, he didn't mention almost every category.
Yeah. See, I thought for sure you were going to go with Scherzer on that.
Yeah, I almost did. I
thought you were going to go with Scherzer. I think this is a clean sweep here. I'm going to DeGrom as well. I mean, the guy's 5-4. You look at that and you're like, oh, that can't be a Cy Young winner. But I mean, he's the only guy in the MLB with a sub-2 ERA that's a starter. I mean, he's out there every single day, bad teams, and I think I saw that they're like 1-7 in his last 8 starts or something like that. It's crazy. You can't punish him for that. If you could pick one statistical category that your pitcher leads in, every day of the week you're going to pick ERA. Mm-hmm. That's the only surefire stat to judge how good a pitcher is, and he's blowing everybody out of the water. He has a 1.84 ERA, so you can't punish him for being on this bad team, and I really don't know where anybody else could go with this, because if you want to come back and say, well, Scherzer, he's 10-4. Well, the difference between DeGrom's ERA to Scherzer's ERA is the same between Scherzer's ERA to Lester's ERA, but Lester's has 2 less losses and another win. So I think wins and losses for pitchers is the most ridiculous stat that you can come up with.
And coming from a traditionalist, this is where I was going to chime in on that. I do think, because what if DeGrom had started the season with the Nationals? What would his win-loss record be right now? It'd be like probably 11-2, somewhere in there. I mean, it would be astounding. But he's 5-4 because he's on a terrible team right now.
Yeah, and you can't punish the guy for that.
No, and I do think, just like I talked about, however many weeks back about errors being eliminated from the game, I do think there needs to be a tweak in how much weight is added to a wins-loss record for a pitcher.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think wins and losses basically are just bullshit. Because if a guy goes out there and gets 8 runs a game for his team, and has 20 wins at the end of the season, like Porcello that one year. I hate to dog Porcello.
It should have been Verlander that one, but
and Porcello, I think at the end of the year he had like 8 runs a game of support.
I don't know if it was that high, but it was high.
It was ridiculously high, and wins and losses are terrible for that. So we'll go ahead and go to the AL guys. Who are your AL Cy Young winner?
I'm gonna have to go with Verlander at this point. I came out of the gate when we did our preseason awards. I said it was going to be Verlander. I know with his age, and he's had a few bad starts here past couple weeks, I still think that he has done more than any other pitcher in the American League up to this point. I think he's going to continue to do that all season.
Mine, I don't have Justin Verlander because he has 1.2 ERA and best team in baseball. But I think it's going to be Chris Sale. But right now, looking at everything into account, having Justin Verlander. But right now, actually, my second Cy Young winner is Pine Tar.
Pine Tar?
Pine Tar.
Pine Tar, yeah, it's actually helped the Astros out a ton. So just ask Trevor Bauer. My AL Cy Young winner, I know it's not going to stick for the rest of the season, but up to this point, I said that ERA is the only definitive way to look and see how good a guy is pitching in today's game. And your AL Cy Young winner is Luis Severino. And I know I kind of said, wins are kind of bullshit, but he leads the AL in wins and ERA. So those are two pretty good things to lead in if you're going to lead in anything. He's going to have those blow-up starts, and he's not going to maintain that throughout the rest of the season. You asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have went with Verlander. Verlander's had a couple bad starts, fell below Severino in ERA, but I'm one of those guys that thinks that basically your ERA leader should be your Cy Young winner. Do you guys agree with that at all, or
Like not even
to a point, yeah, but I do to a point. I feel like you gotta look at how many innings he's pitched to and all that stuff. And if one guy has an ERA of like maybe 3/10 higher, but he has like 100 more strikeouts, he's a 100 more strikeouts guy.
right?
Well, and so do you think maybe just not even leave it to a vote? Like whoever just leads at the end of the season in ERA, like default is the winner?
Almost like an understood thing.
Yeah.
Like you still got to do the voting process.
But like Leighton said, I think a lot of emphasis could be put on innings and strikeouts. There's a lot of different factors to it, obviously. ERA would be kind of the biggest one to look at, but also if in today's game 200 innings, what used to be is probably closer to 180 innings now. If a guy goes out and gives you that, like 30 more innings than the guy that has a little bit lower ERA, I'm going to give it to the guy that went out and was a workhorse.
Right. Yeah, I could definitely see that. I know it won't hold, but I would have to go with Severino at this point. So, Rookie of the Year, we'll start in the NL. Guys, who are your Rookies of the Year this year?
I'll go last on this one, actually. I got a good one for this.
You want to go last?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Dipper, stand by for that. My Rookie of the Year is Juan Soto. I'm going to Drake, before the show we were talking about it, I was going to go Ronald Acuna, and just in every offensive category, including OPS, Juan Soto leads Acuna in basically the same amount of at-bats. Official at-bats, Acuna has, I think, 130, Soto has like 126, so, and Soto's hitting like 40 points higher, so I really don't know how you could give the vote to anybody else. Apparently Leighton does, and I'm really curious to see what that is.
Yeah, I'm ready to see it. I'm actually going Juan Soto as well. I mean, his OPS is .988, and I mean that is phenomenal numbers for a rookie at this point. And you have to kind of expect that he's only going to get better. Like I don't know why, but I think he's actually going to sustain this, and he's going to be really good for a really long time. But as far as this season goes, I mean, yes, he doesn't have as many at-bats as some of the other guys, but it's just, it's opportunities. He didn't get called up until a little bit into the season. So I think Juan Soto will win this award, and to this point, I think he's deserving of it. Leighton, who do you got?
Well, let's see. I was looking through all the rookie numbers and at National League, and none of them really blew me away. So, I do think it would end up being Soto by the end of the season. It could be Soto. But right now, your best rookie of the year is Jake Flaherty, the pitcher from the Cardinals. He's pitched 1.2 innings, has 73 strikeouts, and a 2.9 ERA. And you think back to a Michael Fulmer won rookie of the year in the AL, there was no really overwhelming batter. They get it to the best pitcher, and Jake Flaherty is the best pitcher. And it could be Acuna, it could be somebody in the season, but right now I think it has to be Jake Flaherty.
Cardinals Nation, thanks you, Leighton.
I actually kind of like that. That's not where I thought you were going to go with it.
Well, actually, I had no idea you were going to say Flaherty, but I knew when you said, if you're going to go with a hitter, it had to be Acuna or Soto, so I knew it had to be a pitcher, but okay. That's good research on your part, and that's good, I didn't even think about a National League rookie pitcher.
Yeah.
I went automatically just went offense.
Yeah,
so.
If Soto kind of falls down and Acuna, doesn't continue to put up these big time numbers, I could see that. I honestly would not have a problem with Flaherty because Flaherty's been phenomenal. I think he has more than one strikeout an inning, correct?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think
only 18 walks.
And I think Flaherty is going to. I've said it since he came up. I think he reminds me kind of like a Chris Carpenter type. He's just that bulldog. You don't see that very much nowadays, and I know it's nothing statistical, and I'm kind of getting into my traditionalist views here, but like if you're watching him pitch, if a guy steps out on him, he stays up there ready to throw the pitch, and he starts barking at guys. I enjoy that. I think that's what it takes to be that ace caliber guy. You know, you've got to be willing to get in somebody's ass and really just go out there and compete. Do I think as a rookie right now, because he had 2 performances ago, went out and was phenomenal against the Brewers. And, you know, I watch, obviously, Cardinals heavy here, but, you know, they were talking on the pregame the next night of how he was like the first one in the clubhouse after that start. But then he comes out against the Indians last week, and it was pretty poor. So I just don't think he has found the formula for consistency yet. I think he will, but I think he's going to taper off a little bit in the second half, especially with all of our rotation injuries, and he's going to have a hard time keeping up with that.
Yeah, I can see that. Flaherty, he reminds me of that dude that just like, if you get him into the postseason, you better watch out. Does he not?
Well, and that's kind of why I see him as like a Carpenter type, because I don't think if you look at Chris Carpenter's like regular season numbers, yes, he won some Cy Youngs and things like that. But really, I mean, what sticks out to me, and again, as a Cardinal fan, is Carpenter in the playoffs, because he's just that bulldog, that thing you can't measure. And I know that drives like new era guys crazy.
The look in his eye.
Yeah, that sort of deal, and like how he is in the clubhouse. But I really do think Flaherty is just that. He's cocky. Like, he's just a cocky prick. And here's the thing, too. Like, all these intangibles of, like, you know, he's got a hot girlfriend. Like, he's just... he shows up, I'm the fucking man, and I'm ready to throw the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Like, 24 hours prior to my start, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
You know? And I appreciate that. I really like a guy like that. Like, he is just, I'm the man.
Yeah, I know this is going to lead to a 5-minute discussion on
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Stick.
You should have known better.
Yeah. Flaherty, look in his eye, watch out. He gets in the postseason, he's going to be money. Cardinal magic sprinkled all over this guy. So, stuck on the NL there for a little bit. I think this will probably be a clean sweep in the AL. But, guys, who do you have?
I'm going to hate to say it. It has to be Gleyber Torres. Since he got called up, the Yankees have... Like, he didn't deny the Yankees team. They started off pretty slow.
Yeah.
He came up, and now just fucking torching the earth. He has 14 home runs, 34 RBI, 288 average. I'll see him for the next decade, too, probably.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be fun.
Get used to it. You're welcome, Yankees fans.
Since I just took way too much time with the NL portion of this segment, I'm just going to say ditto.
Yeah. There's no argument on this.
No.
I think this is like the biggest clean sweep of any award that you can hand out at this point.
And it's crazy because Yankees are going to have back-to-back runaway MVPs. Or AL Orchideas.
Yeah. No, yeah. He will run away with this award. And he's great to watch. Unfortunately, he's a Yankee. So, guys, Manager of the Year. This
was a Cub.
Yeah. Oh, don't. We got a World Series out of it. I mean, I'll take that.
No, that's fair trade.
Good trade. Manager of the Year. These always create the biggest discussion, I think, because there are so many things that you can point at.
I think there are always like 3 names legitimately from each league that you could bring up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree. And, you know, and a manager is one of those things that you really don't. You're taking a guess on how much he actually means to the ball club. So that's why I always think that these conversations create the most conversation, and they're the easiest to argue. We'll go in the NL. We've been going NL first. So, guys, who is your NL Manager of the Year?
I think the fact that he has the Braves a season or 2 ahead, Brian Snitker. I think he is what he's doing with Atlanta. You know, it helps what's happening with all of these guys finding their offensive production and things like that. Like you said, it's hard to measure how much of that is the manager, but you can't knock him. He hasn't done anything wrong, that's for sure. So, kudos to him.
Yeah, the NL committee came up in 2 guys, Carrie Faye, manager Kepler, and Snicker. I think I can see Kepler winning. I do think Phil's going to win out of the division for the end of the season. But right now it has to be Snicker.
You know what? And as much as I was on Kepler at the beginning of the season, he made some big-time adjustments, and I could definitely see that, Leighton. I agree with you there. Kepler's done an amazing job in Philadelphia, and I absolutely could see them winning that division.
Yeah, this came down to 3 guys, in my opinion. I had Craig Counsell, I had Kepler, and then Brian Snitker. I think Snitker, with what he's done, nobody had this team as a playoff team, and now they, at the halfway point, have the most wins in the NL.
Right. Well, in that, too, to make a point, I made a point to Leighton's manager picks there, and I'm going to make one to yours, to Craig Counsell. I think what he's done with the lack of pitching, the starting pitching that Milwaukee has, and we've all talked about at the beginning of the season that they lack the starting pitching, the Brewers are in first place right now in the Central. So, you know, another, just like I said right before we started this segment, you could always pin it to like 3 guys.
Oh yeah,
And couldn't go wrong, really.
yeah, and in the AL, I think we're going to see the same thing because it basically came down to another 3-man race. And guys, who do you have in the AL as your manager of the year? I don't think we're going to have any of the same.
I think a team that you have sung the praise of all year, Scott Service.
Oh yeah, here we go.
So, what he's done with the Mariners to this point, with Robinson Cano being suspended, still keeping that team on track. At this point, if the season ended today, they have a playoff spot. Like you said, we can't measure how much of that maybe is him, but he's done a great job with that club so far this season.
See, that's a good pick. I look at him, but my pick, and this might be a homer pick, but a particular pick is Alex Cora. At the Red Sox, like Kai said earlier, the best offense in baseball, really tearing it up. And the reason I picked him over Aaron Boone, because last year the Yankees team got 1 game away from going to the World Series. The Red Sox team won the division, but they were not that good team last season. He had anybody who, last year Mookie batted 266. And running the clubhouse, everybody hated failed, everybody hated losing. Everybody hated losing still, but now that they don't enjoy the losses as much, not afraid to lose games. And Cora flipped the whole clubhouse around.
Have you seen, dude? Cora, I think, is like a crazy man. Have you seen what he has in his office?
Yeah, he has that picture for every win.
Every single win that the team has, he has a picture from that, and it's like basically like a 5x7 photograph up in. It's probably bigger than that actually. A photograph from that win on his wall.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a crazy man. Like he takes his regular season win serious.
And to Leighton's point, Drake, I don't mean to cut you off from your pick here. I'm ready to be more than all ears to what you have to say here in just a minute. But to piggyback off Leighton's idea here, I think if Girardi were still the manager of the Yankees, I think they'd be just about where they're at right now. I think Boone has done a good job at not failing so far, but not necessarily succeeding, if that makes any sense whatsoever. To whereas, like you said, the Red Sox have actually made an improvement from Farrell to Cora, whereas I don't think the Yankees have really done that from Girardi to Boone. I think they'd be in the same position.
Yeah, he just kept the boat afloat, basically.
Right. And, again, done a good job of not screwing up. Thumbs up there.
Yeah, that's huge.
But
not messed up's important.
Yeah. So Farrell to Cora has been a bigger transition.
Yeah. No, that's what I was getting at with my...
And I think you make a good pick there.
Yeah, I agree. You can't go wrong with those. And that's the thing that I was saying. Like Cappy said, 3 guys. Boom. 3 guys in the NL we mentioned. 3 guys in the AL that we're going to mention. I'm actually going with Scott Service. Basically for the same reason that I had picked for the Braves. This team was not projected as a playoff team. I think I was like the only person in the world to pick this team as a playoff team, other than like Robinson Cano and D. Gordon. And they lose Cano, who is probably at the beginning of the season, if you're looking at this roster, probably their best player. They lose him for the whole season, and as soon as they lose him, boom, he gets the guys back on the horse. Right now, they're sitting in with the 3rd most wins in the MLB, and they're half a game back behind the Astros. Like if you'd have thought at the beginning of the season that if somebody would have told you the Mariners at the halfway point would be a half a game behind the Astros, you'd think, man, Astros, they're having a World Series hangover. Mm-hmm. But no, that's not the case. It's that the Mariners are showing up every day, they're ready to play ball, and they're playing great. And I think a lot of that has to do with service. And it's hard to put a finger on why a team's good and to put it on the manager, but with that team, I think that there's a little bit of magic there with Service, and he's doing a phenomenal job this year. So guys, it's time to hand out the award for the best team in the MLB up to this point. I think I know where Leighton's going to go, but Cappy, we'll let you take first.
I think it comes down to 2 teams, and I think they both come from the same division. I think it comes... Yes. Actually, it's a way to cut me off.
Indians and Tigers?
Wow. All right. That's the 4 teams I was going to talk about, really. So, no, I think out of the Red Sox and Yankees, I think that's who you're picking from right now. Yes, the Astros are the defending World Series champions. They're right up there again. But, like you said, the Mariners are right on their heels right now, and the Red Sox and Yankees would be ahead of them at this point. So, I don't know who's better out of the Red Sox and Yankees at this point. They're gonna, like you said, they're gonna be tied at the end of the night. I think just breaking down every single fragment of both teams, At this point, they're even in everything, like I mentioned earlier, except bullpen. Bullpen makes the difference for the Yankees at this point. Yankees are the best team in baseball right now.
So you think Yankees?
Yeah, I mean, all bullpen is ass. Like, that's good points. And then, you can't go wrong with who you pick out of the three teams in the American League. I was going with the team you didn't talk about, Houston Astros. They're the best team. We did this, a month ago. The best team in baseball right now. The bats are heated up, and if their bats keep going like they're going, and the pitching stays where it is, they're going to go back-to-back World Series.
And I did watch the Astros the other day in a game where they were down 5-0 after the first inning. Keuchel gave up 5 runs to, I can't even remember who they were playing now, as sad as that is. But there was just, absolute zero panic. That was the Blue Jays. There was zero panic. They knew they were going to come back. Bregman hits a 2-run walk-off.
Dude, that stretch where they went wasn't it like 17-1 or what was the record there? It was like 12-1 or something. They had a ridiculous stretch in almost all those games. They came back in like the last 3 innings of the game.
So I think that makes them dangerous, but it's, I don't know. Like, it's crazy how much further ahead the American League is than the National League at this point, because I'm not even considering any National League teams right now.
No. I considered this a 3-horse race. Yankees, Astros, and Red Sox. But I'm going to have to go with the Red Sox on this. I do get the point of who has the better bullpen, and that bodes well for playoff baseball, for sure. 100% playoff baseball, you better have a bullpen, and they better pitch well. Otherwise, you're going to be hurting. But I'm going to go with the Red Sox just because, I was pulling up the MVP candidates, who I thought should be the MVP, and the Red Sox legitimately have 2 MVP favorites on their team. You have Chris Sale. I know David Price didn't pitch his best tonight, but before this, he'd been on fire lately.
Yeah.
I like the starting pitching that the Red Sox have, and I trust their batting lineup more than what I trust the Yankees. And that's not in the sense of who can put up the most runs, who can put up runs consistently. And, the Yankees, they have a chance to do like what they did yesterday against Sale. I think they only had 2 hits all game. And 1 hit all game. Yeah. And the Yankees have that ability to just all of a sudden disappear. Everybody strikes out on the team. We've seen Giancarlo strike out 5 times in a game twice, and he's supposed to be the guy that this team leans on. And whenever I look at the Yankees batting rotation, I feel like the most important guy to this team so far has been Gleyber Torres, and that's a rookie. I understand, Didi Gregorius was hot at the beginning of the season, and then it flipped over to Torres, and there's guys that go on spurts. But as far as just a model of consistency, I think the Red Sox have been that all season, and I think that's why I would put them as the best team.
I do really like that. I think you make great points there. It is, to me, the difference in... And I talked about it at the beginning of the season. The Yankees lineup has a potential to be inconsistent, just like you talked about. It's a great point. But they're getting production from guys that you didn't even count on them getting production from. Andujar, Torres. So to me, now it has afforded them almost the opportunity for Stanton and Judge to go quiet for a week. Now that doesn't hurt them as bad as it would have, I thought, in March.
Right.
That's kind of what makes the difference to me right now. I think you make great points about the Red Sox having potential to be more consistent. That's huge. So, I don't know. That's just kind of where I'm coming from with the Yankees thing.
I
don't think there's a wrong argument here.
No.
But, it's just, that's why I love talking sports with you guys, because there's always that different way to look at it.
Yeah, because all 3 of us sat here, 3 different teams that we thought were the best in the MLB. And you're not wrong.
Yeah, nobody made bad arguments at all.
No, I agree with it. And I think it's just, right now, the 3 best teams in baseball are all in the AL, and it's pretty overwhelming. And do you like how the Mariners are like half a game out behind the Astros and didn't even get mentioned?
Yeah. Well, they're the 4th guy here I got mentioned.
I don't think the National League has a team in the power rankings probably to me until at least the 5th spot.
I would say you're probably right. Who's your favorite team in the NL?
Cubs are heating up really good.
Yeah, but they're just coming off a stretch where they had
we got swept by the Reds last week.
So
that happens.
It does. It's a long season. The season's a speed bump.
The season is a speed bump.
Really though, if you're one of the 5 NL playoff teams right now, it's a speed bump.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Like, you ain't caught.
So, Cappy, I'd love to hear from you. since you're in this week, we're going to go ahead and turn it to Cappy's Corner.
Throw on your flat bill snapback and grab your jug of water. It's Cappy's Corner. All right, Dippers. This week in Cappy's Corner, again, not talking about Major League Baseball right now. Going to switch to the College World Series. Have to wrap it up. The 3-game finals just wrapped up this week with the Oregon State Beavers defeating the Arkansas Razorbacks 2-1. The Razorbacks definitely had a chance there in Game 2 to go for the sweep. They were a fly ball being caught away from being the national champs. They just couldn't make it happen. That ball drops. We've seen it before. A terrible way to lose the last out, the potential last out there. And then they come out in Game 3 just flat. And then props to Kevin Abel. The dude had thrown 2 times in 4 days prior to Game 3. And then he comes out and throws like 124 pitches, complete game, retires the last 20 batters. I mean, Arkansas was just flat. You could just see it. Like, after they got beat, Oregon State comes back Wednesday night. They were not going to lose that momentum Thursday. And I'd like to right now kind of open up the corner and get your guys' thoughts on the catch, the non-catch at the end of Game 2 there between Arkansas. I think it's the right fielder's ball all the way. He's got the best angle at it. He's running in. He kind of gave up on it. To me, it was almost like that. I don't want to be the guy that drops the last out, so I'm just not going to go for it, and pulled back, and the second baseman didn't have a chance.
Yeah, I agree with you on the second baseman not having a chance. I think that is the right fielder's ball, like 9 times out of 10, unless, the first baseman just gets like a ridiculous jump on it. But I felt like the first baseman and the second baseman were just kind of thinking like they were just reliant on the right fielder.
Well,
there.
And you can see in the replay that Shaddy, the second baseman, he was calling it. But even if he's calling it, and you played second base, if you've already called it 3 times and the right fielder comes in and says, no, I got it, you give way to the outfielder every time.
Yeah, because he has a way better angle at that point.
So and that's where Eric Cole definitely could have continued coming in, and he knows that, and that's why I really think he just kind of like pulled up and did not want to be the guy that screwed that up.
Be the guy that runs into the second baseman who's called it 6 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm actually going to ask you about him calling for the ball and if the guy should have stopped or not.
Right. I don't understand. And again, I was never even good enough to make it half as far as these guys did. So I hate second guessing what they're doing. But just to me, my opinion, I think Cole really did just kind of get cold feet there. He didn't want to be the dude that comes in, overtakes the guy that's already called it, then drops the ball. So he gives up on it. You can see him pulling up. Shaddy loses it. Just an ugly play, and I really hate it for those guys because now dude, they've got to live with that forever.
Oh yeah, that'll be on them.
It makes you sick for them. It really does.
Yeah, and it's a bummer too because you and I were texting during Game 1, and I'm like, dude, this Arkansas team is just a machine. Mm-hmm. Like they're just basically like a model of consistency. Everybody does their job and everybody knows where they're supposed to be, and that was basically the only chink in their armor that you had saw that whole entire College World Series, and it was a bad play.
Well, and to me too, I think Arkansas was a dangerous team because not only there's a difference between being like just the hottest team coming in, but being the hottest team with something to back that up. And Arkansas was a very, very good team, and they were the hottest team. That's why I thought they were definitely in. And if they catch that fly ball, again, they would have swept the Beavers. But they gave way. Oregon State was a veteran team. They knew how to take advantage of that, and they absolutely did. So, good job, for them to do that, to take advantage of that. But you almost hate to see how it went down.
Oh,
it
yeah,
makes you physically sick for them.
Yeah, that sucks because 17 innings, they had completely just dominated that series. 17 innings, and then you lose the last 10, and boom, there's your season right there. And that's a bummer for those guys. But I'm glad that you're talking about college baseball on this. I like that.
So, and now college baseball is sadly over. The College World Series is no more this year, so we will wait until next June until it comes back.
And no one knows that baseball starts until Kenny talks about it.
Right.
And you're out of there. I have to do that at the end of every Cappy's Corner. I am financially obligated to do so.
It's in my contract.
You skipped last week, so I knocked down your pay a little bit.
Oh, well, that's a little bit of a bummer.
No, it's Kenny's going to get paid.
Not yet. So on this is something that we kind of pushed off onto the corner for a little bit. We hadn't talked about him much, and that's Shohei Ohtani. Actually comes out this week that he is cleared to swing again, but we don't know if we're going to see him pitch for the remainder of the season. They said that there was improvement with his injury, which is kind of, good news if you're an Angels fan. Guys, what do you make of them clearing him to swing but not pitch at all for this season?
Well, first off, I'm excited that he can do something so he's getting healthier and hopefully come back this season. But honestly, if I'm the Angels and they're going to have the AL playoff pictures right now, I don't bring him back at all this season. Like, I don't see a point in putting him out there to possibly re-injure himself, and it's a big investment they made. So if I was the Angels, I'd keep on the shelf for the rest of the season.
I think that's a great point. But I think to let him go the entire second half and not bring him back and potentially give him those at-bats, I think makes it that much harder for him next season. That's the only reason I would be inclined to bring him back as a hitter. Now, I don't think he throws the rest of the year, to Leighton's point, because they are not competitive at this point. But I think you still want him, if he can, to get those at-bats in the second half, even if they aren't competitive. So it's just a little, maybe that much easier for him next year to get started.
Right. I agree with you there. I think they're going to keep him out for a little while, though.
I do, and I think they're going to be as cautious as they can be.
Yeah, and we've seen it all season, and they've managed this so well, so I doubt that they're going to screw this up. They've done a great job managing him. Anytime that anything's going on, they'll sit him for a start, push his start back, not let him hit one day. And they've done a phenomenal job at managing this, but it's still scary that they've been so cautious and done such a great job with it, and we're still seeing these injuries flare up. I think it's one of those things that they're going to have to sit down, see how much swinging the bat and actually going out there and hitting, what kind of toll that puts on his body, and if that has a potential to re-aggravate that. But I think that's going to be one of the things I pay attention to most coming down this stretch towards the end of the season, how they're going to manage Ohtani, since we're probably not going to see him throw, and see if they actually let him get the ABs, because that's going to be important. If you're going to go forward and say this guy's going to play both ways, you got to let him get the ABs at the end of the season if he's healthy enough to do so. So, guys, we'll go to anything more than a fallacy here. This is basically where we go through and we tell you guys who are on ridiculous statistical numbers, or good or bad, and see if these guys are going to be able to maintain these numbers throughout the remainder of the season. First on this list, not too good. Jason Hamill is on pace for 20 losses this season and a 4-20 overall record. Guys, do you think that there's any way that Jason Hamill is able to lose 20 games in an MLB season?
Jason Hamill. Well, I played for the Royals, and Royals are, one of the 2 or 3 most teams in baseball. But I don't think he's going to have 20 losses, because he had a decision at all but 2 starts, I think, and that in itself is kind of crazy.
That's a fallacy.
Yeah, so he's going to lose a lot of games because I played for the Royals, but 20, I don't think 18.
Oh, you think he'll get up to 18?
Yeah, I think it's close to 20, but I don't think he'll get to 20.
Because since 1980,
yeah.
This has only happened one time. A guy's only had 20 losses one time.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy to think about.
Well, and like Leighton said, even to the point that he's had a decision in all but 2, that's not going to continue. I don't think, like Leighton said, I don't think he'll have 20 losses just because of that. Even if he continues to pitch as bad as he has been, I don't think that he'll get to 20 just because he's not going to continue to get all those decisions.
Yeah, and you have to think that at some point in his starts they will get some run support for him, and whether it's just him getting the no decision or him actually picking up a win even if he doesn't pitch great. Right now he's got a 5.56 ERA, so it's not like he's blowing anybody out of the water. He'll continue to probably be bad, but I think 15 is a safe one to go with. 15 to 18 range, but that's so high to think about.
Or hell, maybe he'll just fake an injury.
He has 10 though. He's got 15. It's only 5 losses second half of the season.
I know it's hard. Whenever you look at it, you're almost like, yeah, he'll probably have 18 to 20. But it's just so hard to think about that this is going to happen. I think it's one of those things that it'll all balance out in sports.
Would you consider faking an injury when you go home for the All-Star break? Would you think, all right, maybe in August I can just fall down on the mound and act like something's hurt?
You can lie. 'Cause
If I get 15, if there's two months of the season left and I have 15 losses, I'm totally faking an injury.
Like as soon as I throw a pitch, I'm just gonna collapse on the mound and be like, "Oh my
Go for
god!"
the elbow.
Yeah,
It's just fine. No, it's supposed to be it hurts. I can't do it.
yeah,
I need to talk to James Andrews immediately.
yeah. Maybe that's what he needs.
He does. He needs Tommy John surgery. You heard it here first. Jason Hamill needs Tommy John surgery.
I like the diagnosis. I do. But yeah, man, it would be so hard to go out there and pitch if you know that you have 15 losses and you still have like 7 or 8 outings left in your tank. That'd be miserable. I'd like to know what the run support is for him to have that many losses. I mean, I know that a 5.56 ERA is not good, but to have 10 freaking losses at the halfway point of the season, that's ridiculous.
I'll try to find it for the end of the show.
Okay, that'll be a fun stat to actually see. So fallacy number 2. Despite being 11th in runs scored, the Reds are on pace to win fewer than 70 games. Will things round out, and will they win 70 or more games this season?
I think that the Reds have made a big improvement ever since they let go of Brian Price and Jim Riggleman has taken over. I think they need to take the interim tag away from Riggleman, make him permanently the full-time manager. He's done great things with this team. They've played pretty well under his reign. I think they could get to 70 games, 70 wins this year just because of that offense. You know, almost 10th in runs for a team that's been that bad. Why not? You know, just like I said, with Riggleman, since he's taken over, if they continue on the pace they have since excluding Price, I could see them getting to 70.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, I was looking I think it was last week. They had 3 guys in the top 20 in average, and you're looking at that team like, how the hell are they so bad? But, you know, they started off very, very bad. I agree with you, though. They should yank the interim tag off and just make him the full-time manager. I mean, if you just look at their last 3 series, they swept the Cubs, they won a series against the Braves, and now they're about to split with the Brewers. So, I mean, what more do you want out of the guy? I mean, he's taken a ball club that absolutely has nothing to play for at this point and turned them around, and that's a phenomenal job. I think they're going to get to 70 wins just based off of their offensive alone. Now, if they do go into full sell mode at the trade deadline and just, you know, unload like Jeanette, maybe talk Votto into going out for a trade, I think it'd be very hard for that team because they are so offensively based. They have to score a lot of runs to win. But, you know, if they don't make any big-time trades at the deadline, I could see this team winning 70 games. And they've been playing really, really well, honestly.
Yeah, I know Ben talked about it last week, talking about the trades, all the guys they have cooking the ball really well. They do score a lot of runs. I think that alone will carry them to at least 70 wins. But it's not the manager's fault at this point. They have no pitching.
Yeah, no, their pitching is terrible. And it's one of those teams that if they did have, you know, something to throw out there, you know, some quality starters, they would actually be a pretty good baseball team.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to get to 70 wins, though?
I do, yeah.
You do? I agree with that. And it's kind of weird to think about it after that terrible start.
And Riggleman took over 18 games in, and Price had won 3 games. So, just like I said, if they continue on the pace that they have under Riggleman, excluding the 18 games that they had Price, I think they will. But to your point, if they are big-time sellers of any of one of those guys that you mentioned, yes, that will hurt their chances for 70 this season. Also, how about Mike Lorenzen from the Reds, man? In his last 3 at-bats, a relief pitcher has hit 3 home runs.
I saw that.
And at least one of them, if not 2 of them, have been in like actually kind of crucial situations where like he was actually acting as like a legitimate pinch hitter.
That's crazy.
I
saw that yesterday, and I wrote it down so we'd be able to talk about it. That's wild. 3 3 home runs in his last 3 at-bats?
Yeah, as a relief pitcher.
That's pretty insane. Maybe they're going to Ohtani this dude.
They could.
Ship him over to the AL and let somebody play with that. Actually, to your point, you said that they started off 3-15. They are a 500 ball club since he's taken over.
Since Riggleman took over?
That's super impressive. So, third fallacy here. We have, as a team, the Arizona Diamondbacks are batting .227, 29th in baseball, and only 1,000th of a point higher than the Orioles. Will the Diamondbacks get their team average to .240 this season?
We touched on it in the opening when we talked about Jay, and I mentioned it then. I think that they have been extremely bad as an offense to the point where this is not them in any way, shape, or form. I think that they are a better team than this offensively between Goldschmidt starting cold. A lot of guys, they've had a couple injuries they've had to fight through. This team is not going to be as bad offensively in the second half as they were in the first. They're going to find that they're going to turn it around, and that makes them that much more dangerous since, like you said, they already are in first.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they will turn it around and they will get the average up to 240 and kind of separate in the division because the Giants taking that division away.
Dude, it's crazy to think about that team has that bad of a batting average. I didn't realize that as a team they were hitting that bad. I mean, they're almost flirting with a 200 batting average, and they're 10 games above 500. So you look at this team, they're too talented to be playing that bad, for one. And if they're figuring out ways to win ball games while you're hitting 215, it's going to be crazy once this team does start clicking offensively because like we said, you have Goldschmidt, who is an absolute stud. I mean, Lamb's not a huge average guy, but he's all right. John Jay's not going to have a stretch where he goes 0 for 30 again. Like, this team will figure it out offensively, and if they're able to win ball games now, this is going to be a scary team if they get anything going in the right direction.
And I think to the fallacy question, all we have to point to in your answer is you said once they figure it out.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time before this offense takes off.
Yeah. I think playing in Chase Field, if I play in Chase Field, then it's that bad too.
That too. Okay, honest question. Do you think that the baseball's in the humidors thing, their experiment, do you think that's affected them at all this season?
Ooh, I didn't even think about that. Wow.
I don't know, they're 16 in runs overall, I think. So they said all hitting home runs, so I guess it's slugging okay.
So that's probably, and I mean the average point, that's probably not the deal. But just something to think about, just something to throw in there.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. That's crazy to think. That almost, that the Diamondbacks are sitting there like, yeah, this might not have been a good idea.
Yeah.
We might just go ahead and scrap the humidors. But that's it for the fallacy list.
I'll take them for my cigars.
But we'll take it. I imagine, how big do you think that humidor is?
Probably a refrigerator size, if not bigger.
Yeah, I imagine it's like a walk-in humidor.
I think it's walk-in.
Yeah.
Walls.
That'd be baller.
That would be awesome. Oh yeah. They probably have a mixer there. They have like the cigars on one wall, and then they have the balls on the other. That would be like the dream.
That's my dream, yes.
Yeah, that would be nice to have. So we'll go to, if the season ended right now, this is basically where we go through and we talk about what teams are in the playoff picture and what teams are left out. So right now, if the season ended today, your AL East champions would be the Boston Red Sox. The AL Central, you have the Indians. The AL West, we have the Astros. And your wild card teams are the Yankees and Mariners. And guys, for probably the last 2 months of this show, these 5 teams have not changed.
Yeah, and they might change to get out the season, but it'll be the same 5 teams all season.
No, that's what I'm saying, is that the 5 teams have not changed. Like, they've flopped order. The Mariners have, taken some ground on the Astros. The Yankees and Red Sox have been flip-flopping every week. But do you think that this is dead set that these are our 5 teams for the remainder of the season?
I do.
I'll be shocked if anything else happens. Yeah.
And it seems like it's not even close. Like, these teams keep separating themselves from the pack.
Mm-hmm.
As good as the American League is and how much further ahead of the National League it is the AL Central the worst division in baseball?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's an absolute yes.
They are like the redheaded stepchild of the American League.
No, yeah, they're absolutely bad. And you say that they're the best, but it seems like they're like really, really top heavy. Like, you have like these really, really good teams, and then you have the really, really bad teams.
Yeah.
Most of them residing in the AL Central, like you'd said, because the AL Central only has one team that's better than 10 games below 500.
Yep, and that can only have 44 wins, so that's not impressive.
Yeah, that's not impressive at all. So we kind of have a carousel here. Has been all season. The NL East, we have the Braves. The NL Central, we have the Brewers. The NL West, the Diamondbacks reign supreme with their terrible batting average. And your NL wildcard teams, we have the Cubs and we have the Phillies. Guys, what do we see here?
This is actually the 3rd week in a row we have no change in the National League.
That's impressive.
It hadn't happened at all before the past 3 weeks, but past 3 weeks are all the same. So in the East, I'm starting to go wary of the National winning that division. I've been kind of the whole time starting to get wary of it. I'm still going to go with the Nationals though, and then the Central will be the Cubs, West will be the Giants, and wildcard teams will be the Brewers and the Braves.
I've got to think that the Braves get in somehow, whether it's wild card or division winner. I'm not completely sold on the Phillies yet, so I think that the Nationals will get in, whether it's wild card or division. So I right now have Nationals and Braves. As far as the Central goes, I still put my faith in the Cubs that they will take over as the division leaders. I could see the Brewers absolutely getting that second wild card spot. And we talked about it. The Diamondbacks offense hasn't taken off, and they're still in the spot that they are in. So once that offense takes off, I think they could absolutely stay on top in the West.
Yeah, I think this. I kind of sit in the same thing with you there. I'm not dead set on the Phillies. Everybody else, I'm pretty confident are going to be able to hold on. But the Nationals, are we? Leighton said it. This is the first time I've heard him even question whether or not the Nationals are going to win the NL East. And in their last 10 games, they're 3-7. Do you think that this is a ball club that needs to make a move at the deadline? Or do you think this is a team that we're just basically, they're going to sit there and just wait for this team to take off?
I want to add to your question. Let's say we're sitting here and it's July 25th. And like you said, they keep playing bad. And there's 7 games below 500. Do they trade Bryce Harper?
I don't know, man. I think that's one of those things you just hope you can get him back in free agency.
Yeah, that's pretty extreme. I don't think they would.
I don't think they would either, but would you trade Bryce Harper if you would?
If I were
Like
the
eight-
Nationals front office?
Yeah, like 8 games under 500 in
No.
like 20 days before they trade the deadline.
No, I wouldn't.
I don't think I would either, just because this team, like we said, we're kind of waiting for them to
Well,
explode.
and there's no king of the National League East right now. So you would still, I think, hold on to faith past July 31st, no matter how bad it gets.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I don't see things going that bad for the Nats.
No, I don't either, but it's just fun to talk about.
Yeah, no, it is fun to talk
It's
about.
a great question.
But I would almost be if I'm the Nats, I'm like, man, this championship window is basically coming to a close.
This is it.
Yeah, this is your last hoorah. I feel like if you don't go out and make some gigantic move,
In
you're
fact-
going to waste a team that has been the NL East NL East Kings for a while, who just keep getting ousted in the first round of the playoffs.
And to opposite Leighton's move, I think if anything, even if they are bad, what do you have to lose at this point? I think they go out and go for everything that they can to
Go
try
for
to
broke.
make themselves better. Yeah,
Doing Machado.
absolutely. Do it.
Yeah. Go out and get Machado. There's 2 really good pitchers up there in the same division as you with the Mets. Go overpay for them. Do something. Try, because if you don't make the playoffs, Harper is out of there faster than the last game of the
He's gone.
season.
He's probably gone anyway.
Yeah, he's more than likely gone anyways. But if there's no hope that they're going to win anything, he's absolutely going to be gone. But I think that if you want to retain Harper, you go out at the deadline and you just fire sell. Boom, I'm going to just go out and get the best thing I can. If they load it up with talent and make a deep playoff run, that's probably going to be their best chance to retain Harper. So I think this will be interesting to see. This is the team that I am most interested in to see how they handle the trade deadline. I think that's a fair assessment as far as the MLB is concerned. I think this is an ultimate team that we have to be buyers.
Yes, I agree. I'm completely. If I'm the Nationals front office, I am all hands on deck.
Yeah.
We got to get done what we can.
Yeah, I agree there. So, guys, views from the cheap seats. This is basically where we're going to go through and say what we're excited for this week.
We didn't talk about it today. We'll definitely cover it next week. But Thursday, the last day for both of the All-Star team. So I'm really looking forward to see who all is on that. And it also is bullshit the way you can vote 35 times for one email address.
That, and like you said, but to expand on the All-Star voting, I may surprise you here. I think that Posey, who is leading catchers right now, actually needs to be in second place behind Contreras. I would give the
Not
catching
Romero?
nod to At this point, no, just because I think that an all-star player, to me, embodies like kind of winning too. I don't know. It's kind of a silly argument, but you want to see winning players right now, and that's why. And just realistically, Real Muto's not going to get that because he's not getting any love from anybody because the Marlins fans don't care and nobody else paying attention to the Marlins. So I just realistically don't think he's going to get there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Contreras should be starting in the All-Star game. He's had a phenomenal season. Thing I'm most looking forward to is, I said it last week and it's going to be the same thing I say this week. I'm ready for this hot stove to be turned on. I'm ready for it. I mean, because like we had said, back-to-back weeks now where nothing has changed as far as our standings are concerned in the MLB. The playoff teams that were a playoff team last week are playoff teams this week again. And the playoff pictures are starting to round out. And I think that teams that are going to be buyers like the Nats, they need to start making their moves now. They need to get on it early. That way they can bring these guys in earlier than later. And that way they can get some consistency built up before they're making that deep push down the stretch. Because we've seen it time and time again. If you're going to make your moves, you got to get guys in that are good fits for your club. And you can make those guys fit a lot easier if you do it now compared to waiting till the last day. Guys, anything else before we wrap this up?
I could not find your run support stat. I feel like I can find that stat anytime I'm not looking for it. And so I can find it next. Sorry, Dippers. But earlier we talked about the strikeouts and hits. So far this season we have 419 more strikeouts than hits.
Wow. Wow,
Solid.
Cappy, anything?
My outro this week, we weren't able to get the list of 2017 WAR leaders like we had talked about last week. But I'm going to give you the top 10 this season right now. Number 1, Mike Trout. Jose Ramirez in second. DeGrom third. Sale fourth. Aaron Nola fifth. Mookie Betts sixth. Francisco Lindor seventh. Luis Severino eighth. Max Scherzer ninth. And Jose Altuve 10th. To me, Jose Ramirez stands out at the top up there at number 2.
That stands out.
Yeah,
Pretty
he does,
large.
but he's pretty good. Good seasons.
He has. He absolutely has been a great player. To me, this embodies like what would be, to me, WAR should embody who are the top 10 players this season right now. I don't think Jose Ramirez is number 2 right now. And it's just, that's where I find WAR to be inconsistent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, I agree with you there. That's actually kind of wild. And as far as, wow.
And then the other one I found odd was Aaron Nola being fifth.
Yeah, no. Whenever you said that, my immediate reaction was, wow, on Aaron Nola. Where do you think, like, as far as a pitcher's concerned, he's third in the MLB as pitchers. Do you think he's anywhere close to that?
No, I don't. And all of our picks for MVP, other than Trout being number 1, none of our picks for MVP are on here. There's no Freddie Freeman. There's no
JD Martinez.
No JD. That's just where WAR like really gets the waters are muddied for me on WAR.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And I wanted to make that point, and we talked about it last week, and I kind of wanted to wrap up that thought this week, but there it is.
Yeah. No, that's wild. And,
tweet us in on the show. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, and Sale being right behind DeGrom. I mean, I know Sale's had a good season, but like DeGrom's been freaking nuts.
You get DeGrom to be hot. Yeah.
That's wild.
I don't like WAR. WAR sucks.
No, yeah, WAR sucks. I think we're standing firm on that. Next week, Leighton, put it down. We're going to have your guys' list for 2017 WAR leaders, and we're going to talk about that a little bit.
All right, let's do it.
But Dippers, thanks for listening. Make sure you download, subscribe, and rate every show. For Cappy, for Leighton, for Drake, as always, Dippers, stay saucy.